Come on.
This country.
Okay. And then we're going to pop out the chat and put it over here and make it longer. Perhaps a little bit wider. And we're going to change it to all chat and not just top chat. Neat. Okay, there we go. That's all good. I think we should be good. Boom. There we go. Hope you folks are doing well. It's a Sunday morning for me, but it might be a Sunday afternoon or evening for you, or perhaps even a Monday. And I hope you don't have a case of the Mondays. Duke Liberty. That's a very patriotic name. You, sir, are amazing. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for all you do for the community. I hope you have a great day. Well, I hope you have a great day as well, Duke. Afternoon from a sunny Erskine, Scotland. Out getting coffee. Will catch on replay. I'm working on terrain, painting on my Kings of War, and waiting on Halo Flashpoint. Nice. Good morning, Uncle Adam. I hope your day is full of joy and fulfillment. Well, we'll see. On my way to Blood Bowl 7's tourney in Chicago. Nice. Well, I hope you do well. Cloudy and warm in Newark, Delaware, not Network. I need to unload the car, still packed with the miniatures and terrain from yesterday's club games. Ran Charge 1967 with 640 millimeter figures. That's a lot to carry. You're right. BF Bulldog, how you doing? Got to mow the lawn. Well, I'm my apologies. Mowing the lawn's no fun, but I hope that you have at least a decent time. And we'll catch you in the rerun. Good morning from Illinois. How you doing? Good morning from Chorleywood, UK. Cricket match this morning. Nice. Morning from Quebec. Guy Beckett, how you doing? Greetings again from Temple Patrick, Northern Ireland. Out, unfortunately, but have a great show. We'll catch you later. Absolutely, Graham. Good morning from New York City. New York City. It's, what's his name from What We Do in the Shadows. Anyway, Warcry Vampire Army on the table today. Nice. Pleasant day in Cleveland, assembling some more Flesh Eater Corpse models. Also going to use these in Death Wizards. Do you mean Death Wizards? It was over there, so I decided I should do it. But yes, cool. Let's see here. If you're interested in Death Wizards, there's a link in the description below. FYI, it's the newest game from me and Vince. FYI. Again, let's see. Balmy, North Alabama, Tennessee, Corpus Christi. Good morning from rainy Jonesboro in Southern Illinois. Just got back from the Superman celebration at Metropolis, Illinois. Neat. Rod, how you doing? James S. Morning from Boston. Good morning from sunny Toronto, Ontario, doing decals or decals, as Vince and I think some of the folks in Canada will say, on a sister's rhino. Nice. Afternoon from London. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel. Fist and Stone. Good morning from rainy Boston. Good day to hobby. Yeah. I don't know that I'll get much hobby done today because doing this, then lunch at the in-laws, and then we're doing kind of a friend thing. Going to see a movie, and then going and having a cookout, kind of in memory of part of the friend group that passed away earlier this spring. I'm going to go see Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade because he was a big Indiana Jones fan. Let's see here. Laser cutting some paint racks for shop organization this morning. Sounds fun. I was 3D printing yesterday. I was. Not resin 3D printing like you might think. No, I bought a Bamboo Labs A1, which is a filament printer, and the thing works like a charm. Like, seriously, like this is the first thing I printed. This is Benchy. It's a little boat, and it's a little benchmark kind of boat that you usually do. And first try, it just like, yeah. The Bamboo Labs printers, I kept hearing good things about them over and over and over and over again. And so I was like, all right. And like the A1 costs like $400, so it's not cheap, but it's pretty inexpensive. in the grand scheme, especially for how good it is. Good Lord. Like literally, I sit up here, and I find a thing I want to print, and then I run it in the software, and the printer is on my network wirelessly. My Hewlett and Packard LaserJet printer isn't on the network wirelessly. It's a wireless network printer. We've never got the damn thing to work. It does not. I mean, it can print because it's plugged into my wife's computer upstairs, but I've never been able to see it on a network with any other computer in this house, and we've never once gotten it to actually work on the network. This thing in the basement, boom, done. It was fine. It's great. Yeah. So I sit up here and I'm like, I would like to print a thing, please. And I go boop, and then I hear it down in the basement making little arcade noises when it first starts up. It's like do 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 or something like that. And yeah, it's I've printed a bunch of stuff already, not just Benchy there. I've printed there's these things called Texas barriers. They're like big cement tall walls. Jersey barriers are the low ones, and the tall ones are, I guess, called Texas barriers, or sometimes they're called Bremer barriers. Anyway, there's a file that I found on Thingiverse that there's like a completely molested one, and then there's ones that get more and more beat up and shot up and stuff like that as they go. And I printed 3 sets of those, 5 each, 4 hours they were done. So I got 15 of those laying around. And I printed a cool sci-fi sort of vaguely Star Warsy type building from Imperial Terrain, and the body of that thing took like the main portion of it took 4 hours, and the top took like an hour and a half, and it's just smooth, just like I've never seen FDM this smooth. Anyway, hashtag not an ad, but yeah, that's what I did yesterday, was messed around with that. I'd like set it up in the morning, and no, that's not true. I set it up Friday afternoon after the stream, because I was walking around with a Benchy in my pocket on Friday night. Now that I think about it, so yeah, but it was very fast and easy. So I'm really impressed. All right, I've been talking for a while. Sorry. Laser cutting, yes. That guy's stereo is very important. Hello from sunny London, sunny Milwaukee. Yeah, it's sunny here too, which is nice. North Carolina, so happy to catch the live show. Absolutely, glad to have you. Good evening from a very wet southwest Australia. Well, I hope that it gets drier. Oops, everything moved. Meganobs, afternoon from London. Mr. Squirrel. Pop out the chat, maybe, could be. Might be a 90s dance tune. Central New York, how you doing? John Ashley Smith, howdy. Good morning from a rainy New Hampshire. Good day to sit inside and teach my fiance Star Wars Legion. Well, there you go. Finally putting together some MDF terrain. I bought at TMX. Nice. Let's see here. I haven't put mine together yet either, but I did buy some at TMX. I also ordered some 3D printed stuff actually from that same booth, and it showed up in a massive box on Thursday or Friday. I think Friday. Printer showed up on Thursday. Berlin, Germany, currently applying an oil wash over some Battletech minis. Nice. Let's see here. Odessa, Texas. It was great to meet you in person at Adepticon. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Patrick, how you doing? Good morning, everyone. Lurking while at work in southern New Jersey, awaiting the arrival of my Death Wizards book and cards. Nice. Is the A1 printer up and rolling yet? It certainly is. Absolutely. Gilbert, Arizona. Did you know that even the Pocket Dimension has a lawn that needs to be mowed? But it can wait until after the Every Other Sunday show. That makes sense. I get it. But good to see you, JP Got Rockets. Howdy from Richmond, Virginia. Hope to see you at Nova Open. I will be there. That is the plan. Motor Breath Jazz, good morning. Was planning on painting up some Night Haunt, but instead ended up working on trays for mini storage. Nice. Caledonia, how you doing? Good morning from DMV, working on building up my umpteenth Thunderwolf for a Stormlance detachment. Still need to figure out what Dreadnought/infantry I want to round out the army. Greetings from Lichigan. I didn't know they had liches over there. That's pretty cool. It's a Mobius strip of columns and walls, but I'm getting close, I think. Nice. Liverpool, just varnish what you tend to use. Faces and final coat. There you go. Oh, what varnish do you tend to use? Lately, I've been using still this stuff from a company over in the UK called Instar, and it's called Varnish Plus. I've been shooting that through my airbrush. Hot and humid South Florida. I mean, that seems standard, right? I would think. It's usually, I mean, except in the winter maybe. Then it's just kind of humid, I would think. Good morning from sunny-ish Saskatchewan. How you doing? Good morning from Iowa, Surrey, UK. Currently working on my 4th Lionel Johnson, a Demon Prince, and some Custodies. Nice. That's pretty cool. Hello from the break room at Botsford Hospital in Farmington, Michigan. How you doing? Are you going to Gen Con? Yes. Yep. I think Vince is too. Vince and I both are going to Gen Con, like separately and stuff, but yeah. Blustery Sweden, sick as a dog with fever and extreme muzzle pain. Well, that's no good. I hope that you get better soon. Hello from Newfoundland, just finished moving and I'm putting together some Necron terrain. Nice. Formerly the Fox Valley, nice. Speaking of, I have a ton of decals to put on my Sword of Light for Battletech. You use Waters, Microset, Microsol. Anyone in chat have an alt? That's what I use, is the Microset, Microsol stuff. Friends don't let friends buy HP printers. I mean, it prints fine if you can get it to print, but like literally when I want to print something, I have to put it on a thumb drive and then go upstairs, plug it in my wife's computer, and then print it from there, which is not ideal. Good morning from Western Virginia. St. Paul, Minnesota, reporting for coffee, sir. Absolutely. Love my bamboo P1Ps. Best out-of-box experience. I was told to get the P1S by, who told me? Hank and Matthias are the main 2 guys that run Adepticon. And I had a conversation with him when we were in Milwaukee looking at next year's location for Adepticon. And he was like, oh, you should really get the P1S. And I was like, well, it's like $200 or $300 more. It's way big, well, not way bigger. It has the same kind of build plate, really. I don't know. The A1 spoke to me, and that's what I ended up buying, and I was real happy with it. I dig your glasses. Maybe a weird question. What brand are these bad boys? Oh, these are, I get these from online. Zenny. They're zenny.com. Yeah. And these are like designed for like close. So I use these at the computer. They also have blue blocker built in or whatever. So that's, you know, better on your eyes when you're like looking at the computer screen for a long time. These are the normal ones that I generally wear out and about, but these are the ones that I wear on the computer. And then this way, I just thought about getting 2 of the same, but then I'm like, how am I going to tell them apart? So that's why I got them so they look different. My old ones that with the old prescription, they actually had blue frames. They were this same shape, but they were blue frames. And I was like, well, I think I'll just stick with this. So let's see here. Kimberly, Wisconsin in the house. How's that? How you doing? Is that a Benchy in your pocket, or are you just glad to see me? It turns out it was a Benchy. Started printing and painting minis about a month ago. Your videos convinced me to get the Fanatics Mega Set and the Speed Paint 2.0 Most Wanted set. Loving it so far. Thanks for that. Absolutely. They're great paints. Good morning from Scranton. Ordered my copy of Death Wizards day after release. I released and played a game with my 12-year-old who loved it, waiting on the cards now. Nice. This is on the A1? Yeah. I got the A1. Gonna burn a hole in my pocket at this rate. Well, you know, you don't have to buy it. I'm not saying that you should necessarily, but if you're interested in a 3D printer and you want to know my opinion, I've been very happy so far with the Bamboo Labs A1. Again, hashtag not an ad. I bought it. They did not send it to me or reach out or anything. Like 3D printer companies reach out to me almost every week, and I'm always like, but yeah. This one I went to their website and bought it. There was kind of a special, but it was only if you bought, like I still pay the regular price, but if you bought at that time, if you bought filament with the new printer, they gave you a pretty good discount on the filament. But I learned something. So this is the PLA matte black. When I prime these black, I will not be able to tell where the primer is and where the thing is. You know what I mean? I should have gotten like matte gray probably, or basic gray. I don't know. They were the same price, and I'm just like, oh, matte seems better. But yeah, I should get a color other than black next time. I have like 3 more rolls of this stuff, so it'll be a while. But yeah, I just recently was like, you know, when I prime that stuff, it's gonna be hard to tell where I primed it. So for decals, put them in a saucer of warm water, micro, solar, and set are interesting. Always good to catch the show live. Absolutely. Getting some terrain done while listening before it gets to be 100 degrees here in Arizona. I saw a thing yesterday where a guy used one of those like laser temperature thingies, or whatever, and the artificial grass in his front yard was 178 degrees. I don't want that. Today, I think it's going to get to 70. So, and it's nice and sunny. I mean, it'll get chillier in the evening or whatever, but I got a sweatshirt. Good time of day to you, sir. How you doing, Terrence? Uh, West Texas in the oil patch working on Gloomspite Gets. Nice. I'm looking forward to one of the reasons why there's a Skaven in the thumbnail is because I'm kind of looking forward to maybe doing the Skaven spearhead when it comes out or whatever. I think that'd be kind of fun. I feel like it's going to be that and Cities of Sigmar, and those are probably the only two spearheads that I do, but we'll see. Still got my Anycubic doing what I want. Maybe I may buy a Creality as a solution. Gotcha. I introduced Death Wizards to a couple of friends, and they're extremely taken with it. Also encouraging that Vince gave some positive feedback on a house rule I posted in the Discord. I mean, that's what's always cool is that you can house rule anything you want. That's the whole idea. Good morning from Oconomowoc. How you doing? I live in Wisconsin, so I can say Oconomowoc. Not that other people can't say it. It's just hard for most people to look at that word and go, Oconomowoc. Yeah, I could. I worked security after college, and truck drivers would come in and be like, "How do I get to Oconomowoc?" It's fine. I tuna a makerspace. I think that's probably that word might be right. A makerspace at school here in Richmond, and I bought Bamboo Labs Expo and Carbon this year, and it's amazing. Anycubics Cobra 2 Max is great, also huge, printed, super fast, just works. Yeah, I've been real happy. Like I said, it's printing. I'm gonna be doing a lot of terrain with it. I think. I kind of actually want to do a little design on some terrain and see how that works, just to start and kind of figure it out. Like I might do some I was thinking about trying to design some like little 6mm buildings for maybe for Steel Rift and for Flames of Orion. Hello from Texas. Good morning from a sunny Columbus, Ohio. Are you planning to come to Origins this year? Excuse me. No. I think Kat is going to be there. I don't know if Caleb is going to be there. And when I say Kat, I mean Kat Jackson from Army Painter. So Army Painter is going to be there, but I don't know if they're going to have a booth. We just had a meeting with the factory team last week, and Adam was asking which of us, if any of us, is going to be at Origins, and I would probably be the most likely to go, but I don't have any plans to go this year. I think it'd be fun to go. I mean, I've been there in the past. I've gone, I think I went in 2018, 2019. Did I go 2017 as well? Have I been there 3 times? I've been there at least 2 times. I know I've been there 2018, 2019. I don't think I've been there in 2017. And I think it would be a good time, but I don't know. Right now I'm trying to take it a little bit easy for a couple of months as far as travel is concerned. I'm going to be leaving on the 31st of July, going to Gen Con. But it might be kind of cool to go again in the future just because, Vince lives around there. So I don't know. And if it's a thing where it becomes kind of like a bigger deal for Army Painter, then I could see myself going to it, just because it would be good. Gotta get your exhaust fixed, bud. Just picking through the spoils of a garage sale this weekend. Nice. Picked up a Necromunda gang, a Chaos Predator, and 7 boxes of plastic cast terrain, all new in box. Wow, that's pretty cool. I never find anything good at garage sales, but then again, I don't go to too many, I suppose, so there's that. Let's see here. Ahoy from rainy Tennessee. Got my 1 week of rattle can priming out of the way. Yay, summer humidity. Oh yeah, no, I'm familiar with that. Big hi from Fond du Lac. Get yourself to walleye weekend ever? No. I used to go fishing with my dad a little bit when I was a kid, but then when I actually got old enough that I kind of was slightly interested in the concept of sitting around and, getting some bobbers wet and drinking some beers, then he wasn't fishing anymore, unfortunately. So I agree that the AMS light system is great. However, you have to be careful the amount of waste created by multicolor prints. A lot of printer poop created. Oh yeah, no, I saw that. I didn't bother with going with the color thing because I was like, I'm going to paint it all anyway, so I kind of don't care. Now, I know that people talk about how you can have multiple, it doesn't have to be multiple colors, it might be multiple materials. Like there is a certain type of filament that is better for supports than than using the normal stuff that you're using for the body. Like that's, I don't know if it's water soluble or I don't know what it is. So basically what happens then is this printer like has to change every time it wants to print a bit of a support, has to change the go from whatever color you're on to that stuff. And when it does that, it has to basically kick out how much stuff, and then it kicks out this extra bit, and they call that poop. At least what I've been seeing. I saw a guy recently. He printed these 4 or 3. It was like 3 toys. They're like little carrots, little anamorphic carrots with little faces and stuff like that. And they were orange, green, black, and white. They had black and white eyes, white eyes with black pupil. The carrots were orange and the leafy thing was green. And they were like segmented and they were like a little kid's toy. The worst kid's toy in the world, in my opinion, but whatever. Anyway, they must have taken forever to print too because of all the different color changes. So he, when he got done, he weighed them, and they weighed something like 51 grams total, the 3 of them. Then he weighed all of the waste that it made by changing colors, and it was 91 grams of little tiny schneebly little poops every time it changes color. And I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not interested in that. So yeah, I'm not doing that. Let's see here. Have you built a Turnip 28 army? It would be nice to see how you get IDs for kit bashing. I painted 7 models for them that were 3D printed from their like kind of official 3D line. I did those on Twitch some time back. I think there's pictures on my Instagram if you want to take a look. But I have not kit bashed any yet for that. I do want to do Swill, which is their kind of skirmishy game when it comes out, but I'm still waiting for it to come out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. VJ Morph, how you doing? Morning from the marshes of the Chesapeake Bay. How you doing? Sundered Psyche. Hey, VJ. Oh, that was not for me. That's for VJ. Black Magic Craft. Jeremy, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And then everything moved. Here, there we go. Okay. Shelf of Shame is down to 1. Would it be all but done? But I need a blue. Hello from Montreal. How you doing? Greetings from Indiana, working on Slaying the Grey today. That's a good idea. Unfortunately, the faction I'm working on has been annihilated from the face of the game. Ooh, that's also bad. Going to Gen Con is among my summer wargaming plans. Brother and I are running Burrows and Badgers, hopefully with some new figures added. Nice. Yeah, I always look forward to Gen Con. It's not my favorite convention. Like Adepticon's my favorite convention, but it's probably my second favorite. The main reason I go is for like business, I talk to companies and do things like that a little bit. Because a lot of them are there, but then also, to be perfectly honest with you, it's also a good time to hang out with my Gen Con friends, like the people that I go with and we stay, and all that kind of, it's like, that's when I get to see them most. And so that's really a big portion of the trip for me, is hanging out with that crew. Let's see. Good to see you again. It was very nice to meet you at TMX. Well, thanks, Mev. I had a great time. See you next year. Absolutely. Yeah. No, TMX turned out real well. We had full classes. All the classes sold out. So Zambies, Sam, and Vince all taught 2 classes each, 16 seats per class. They all sold out. We had more people this year than we'd had in the past. I mean, last year there was maybe like 90 people roughly. And this year it was like, I haven't completely finished. I got to go back and count some stuff on the point of sale thing we use is Square. I got to go back and double check on some stuff, but I think it's around 110 people, 110, 100 and maybe 20 tops, if you include like staff and like vendors and such. So that's not bad. Yeah, it was a good time. The space turned out pretty well. It's more expensive, but I think it has some definite benefits. It's way easier for people to find. There is a hotel that is attached. Now that's more expensive than back at the old place of the university where you used to stay in the dorms if you wanted to. The dorms were like $45 a night, but it was 2 twin beds in there, not queen beds, 2 twin beds. And if you wanted to go to the bathroom, you had to go down the hall to the bathrooms. And if you wanted to take a shower, you had to go down the hall, because it was a dorm. But it was pretty inexpensive. The hotel rate we got for the hotel attached to the convention center, I think, was $130 a night, but you had a bathroom and a shower right there in the room. So that's nice. Plus, they also redid the whole hotel, so all the rooms were new. And probably when we go back next year, the restaurant will be running. It was in transition mode, and I think the pool will be refurbished and everything like that. So yeah, it's cool. I think it's going to be a Marriott when it opens. It was a Best Western premiere, which is fancy, I'm assuming. And then right now it was just called the Oshkosh Waterfront while it was in transition, but I think it's going to be a Marriott. Let's see here. TMX. What do you use wet pal to prevent mold? I see Game Envy has these copper pieces you place on top of your wet pal paper. I wonder if that would help. It's supposed to. I've never had that problem. I don't know if it's the water around here or what, but I've never had the mold problem. Yeah. But those little copper corner things, that's what they're designed for, so you might want to take a look at those. 3D printers can talk now? Almost. Mine can sing. So can our stove. It's weird. Anyway, working on painting a religious icon on the pavis of a 15mm medieval mini for skirmish play. That's a long sentence. That's a lot of things going on there. Trying to convince my buddies at my FLGS to give this tiny scales a try. Gotcha. I've never personally been interested in 15mm scale. I don't know why. Morning, Adam, from Abner and Isis down in El Dorado, Texas. We had a blast at TMX and meeting all. Thanks so much for what you do. Well, I appreciate it, Abner. Yeah, it was good to meet you too, you folks too. I'm glad that that you guys were able to come up, and I hope you had a good time. Absolutely. Let's see here. Good morning from Westchester, PA. How you doing? Do you think Army Painter will ever add more colors for speed paint? Love them, but wish there were more colors as I'm not good at mixing paint. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, the rack is kind of the rack, right? Like they have the speed paint rack. It's got spots for 90 bottles, and they've got 90 bottles in it. So I don't know. Perhaps like if they released sets, maybe in cardboard boxes. I don't have a box around here that I'd be able to show you, but you know, maybe. I don't know. That's a good question. Why are we not able to order Death Wizards and the cards at the same time? Because they are printed by two different companies. So when you order Death Wizards, the book, it comes from, you order it at wargamevault.com. And the books through Wargame Vault are printed at a company called Lightning Source. And Lightning Source has two different facilities, one in the US and one in the UK. So if you order it over in the UK or EU or whatever, it gets printed and it's a lot closer to you than having it printed in the United States and sent over, and etc. Drive-through cards, which is where you get the cards from, they use a completely different printing company. They're the same. Drive-through cards, drive-through RPG, Wargame Vault, all those different companies are all the same company, and they are underneath the banner of an overall company, which is called One Bookshelf, which I think got bought by Roll20. It's a lot of behind the scenes. The point is the actual printing companies, those companies aren't printing it. They're sending it to a print partner, which in this case is Lightning Source for the books, and I don't remember the name for the cards, but that's why. So when you order the cards, they're getting printed in one place, and they only have one facility, and it's just in the States. So that's the downside. Part of my plan for this upcoming week is to make a downloadable PDF for the cards, because we've had a lot of people. We did not get this request that I remember at all with Majestic 13, but Majestic 13 didn't sell as well either, I suppose. So there's maybe that too. But also I think the prices have changed in shipping overseas. So people are like, hey, if I try to order the cards and they're like $18, it costs $18 to ship them. And that I don't want to do that. I'm like, I get it. So what we're going to try to do is make a print, or basically make a PDF that people can download. Now, I can't just take the PDF that we send to the print company and then just put it up there for you guys, because then it would only be one card per page, and people would be like, I'm wasting so much paper. And I'm like, I get it. But that's the format that they want us to use. It's just one card per page, just the front of one card, and the next page is the back of the next card, and the next page is the front of the next. It's a whole thing. So I'm going to have to, and also they're tarot sized, so I can really only fit 4 per page, but I have to go through and lay out all of the cards and put them all onto pages so that people can download them. And it's going to take a bit of work, but we will have that ability for people if they do want to download them, buy them as a download and then print them themselves. We'll have that option as well. So that's where we're at right now as far as that's concerned, but we'll see how it goes. Let's see here. Wet palette. Colors, Death Wizards. Saying hi from Poland while finishing up some Grimdark Stormcast. Nice. Well, how you doing? So is your new printer going to use that hole that you cut in the side of the house? No. Turns out no. The other printer, the resin printer, if I eventually get it, it will then do that, yes. Prime and white. I'm still trying to figure out the best, most practical travel hobby kit for my vacation in July. Yeah. Currently painting Frostgrave Warband made up of, I was going to say 1,987 metal GW Empire minis, but I'm assuming you mean 1987 metal GW minis. Finally painting them after 35 years. Nice. Do you know what the difference is between what you got and the Bamboo Lab P1 P3D printer? It's about $100 difference. I don't know. I know the P1S is enclosed and big, but I think it has roughly the same build size. The build plate, but I don't know. I didn't really look at it too much. I basically was like, looked at P1S for a bit and then there was a lot of people in the Discord for, the Patreon who were like, the A1 is what I like. And so that's why I bought that. Morning from Montreal. How you doing? Watching live while putting the final touches on my final university papers, end of a 7-year journey. Nice. Congratulations. So you got the FDM set up printing, but no resin prints yet? FDM's way easier. Resin prints just pouring stuff out of a thing and figuring out how to get... This was so easy. Like, seriously, from the time that I opened the box to the time this thing started printing was maybe a half an hour. And I did have to calibrate it, but I didn't calibrate. I just pushed a button and said, hey, you should calibrate. And it was like, okay. And then it did a bunch of crap for a while, and then it was done. And yeah, so if they could make a resin printer that worked this fast and easy, I'd be super happy. But so far, not so much. We install artificial grass at work. It's so hot to touch in the middle of summer. We use gloves and padded knees to kneel on it. See, what's the benefit in that situation? Like, what's it doing? Does it help the environment in some way, or does it just look good, allegedly? Yeah, the whole concept of that seems weird to me. I mean, if it's like you're playing football on it or something, like AstroTurf, that's maybe a slightly different story, although that also is weird stuff. I think it's only supposed to hit 18 Celsius here today. It needs to be much warmer for me. Gotcha. Been reading Warhammer Old World, and I'm interested in the old school flocked table they use for photos. Seems retro cool. Any ideas on how to replicate that? No, I hate flock. I really dislike it because it just it gets everywhere. Like, it never completely sticks down properly unless you just lacquer it down, and then you're like, well, now this isn't flock anymore. This is just bumpy green lacquer. I don't know. I've never been a flock fan, so I'm not the person to ask about that. Morning from Southern Oregon. How you doing? Maybe model railroad rolled sheets of grass. Even those will still shed. It squicks me out. A1 is a bed slinger, and the P1 series is Core XY, so there's more stability in the print surface. Among a few other quality of life features, P1S is enclosed for printing things like ABS. Oh yeah, I don't see myself printing ABS. Because that's true. If you were going to do ABS, it gives off kind of a bad smell. I think PLA smells nice, but when you do that, then then you want to pump it outside or filter it or whatever, something like that. The A1, especially if you're just using PLA, is fine. And yeah, it does move the bed back and forth, but so far that's been not a problem. I have a bunch of new stuff, but always end up working on older stuff I bought years ago, trying to get my money's worth. Sure. Gaming group started a Stargrave campaign. I will definitely dive deep into the Gaslands this summer. Nice. According to the exhibit hall map, Army Painter has a booth at Origins. Yeah, like I said, I think that I knew that. I didn't know if they were going to be teaching or like, running like a paint and take thing, or if they're just going to have a straight up booth. I know Adam said that Kat was going to be there, but I don't know. I don't know if Caleb's going to be there because he broke his foot some time ago and had to, I think, get pins put in or something. I don't know. It sounds terrible. He was motocrossing, which I can see that happening in motocrossing. Cookie shop in downtown Oshkosh should come with a warning. I think I spent more time there than at TMX. It was the closest restaurant, and it's technically a cafe, but they're kind of known for their cookies. It's true. Currently painting some Icor Vasa military figures. They look like a cyberpunk gang, which is why I made the impulse buy many years ago, trying out Army Painter speed paints for the first time. Cool. I remember Icor Vasa stuff, yeah. Looking at loud vehicles, I can see the thought bubble. Why, though? It's true, yeah. Coffee's almost ready. Nice. Morning from North Carolina, painting some German infantry for bolt action. Cool. Glad to see that they're moving forward with a new edition of Conflict 47. Also very glad to see that they're bringing in Andy Summers to do, I think, be lead designer or developer or something like that, which is awesome. I'm hoping that they maybe make a little bit more of that stuff in plastic, but we'll see how it goes. Found 7 GW cases full of 5th edition Bretonians, Empire, and Orcs in a garage and trying to decide what to do with them. Wow. Everything moved again. Coffee's ready. Okay, there we go. Hello from down the street in Milwaukee. I got my Death Wizards book yesterday. Nice. Acetone soluble? Ugh, the acetone's scary. Super, super flammable. Trying out the Vallejo decal fix the first time. I'm liking it so far. Nice. Got an Anycubic resin printer this week. I'm ready to print some dredge from Mezgeik. I know that name. There are some stuff that I want to get printed from him by my friend Dave. So how was TMX this year? Everyone have a good time? Any Reptile Palace visits? Yep, we went to the Reptile Palace on Saturday night. There was no live music, but we had a good time. Let's see. I don't know. It went pretty well. Actually, I was kind of surprised. Sunday was a little bit busier than I would have thought. Like very frequently, a lot of stuff happens on Saturday, and then Sunday is a little bit more low key. But there was a decent amount of people there on Sunday. Let's see. They're running Flames of Orion, which is a mech game made by Steve from the Hive Scum podcast. Steve was there from Hive Scum, which was cool, and so was Adam from the Minneapolis area. He's on the same Discord and all that kind of stuff. So they were there hanging out and doing demos. Vince was doing some demos of Death Wizards. Jordan was there doing demos of Country Road Z, or is it County? Is it Country or either Country Road Z or County Road Z? I think it's County Road Z. Paul was there and he was running demos of Cyberpunk Red Combat Zone, but he had this massive 6-foot long shipping container that he had printed that they sell the STL for at Monster Fight Club, who makes Combat Zone. But yeah, so he had brought that thing and it was filled with these things. These are the shipping containers that Monster Fight Club makes for terrain and stuff like that. They come flat pack and you put them together and they just stick together and are easy. And they can also stack, obviously, as well. They don't come in a big stack like this. They just, you can stick them to each other and stuff like that. They got jazz on the bottom. These are very cool as well. You get 5 of them for $50, I think, these days. But anyway, he had a lot of these, and so you were playing on top of this boat and stuff, and it was really cool. I want to do a video where I do some stuff with these. I just bought some more from my local shop, actually, Wednesday? I think it might have been Wednesday. Black Magic Craft in the house. The tower he's building is awesome, indeed. Looking forward to seeing it painted. Let's see here. I need to get back to work on my Turnip 28 stuff. I have stuff for 2 basic regiments. I'm also painting the Tall Man I built and trying to finish building a Great Proboscis model. Nice. All our Sail Power game sessions are sold out at Gen Con. However, we have spaces left for Tech Commander. Nice. Same space, same place and weekend next year for TMX? Probably. Same space, most likely, unless they do something weird. And probably going to aim for again first weekend of June, probably. Finally caught the show live. Been so long. Well, glad to have you. Just got notified that my Death Wizards book shipped out. Very excited. Building a lot of Warhammer today and kit bashing some more Frostgrave minis for Morkborg and Death Wizards. Very excited. Nice. What I've been working on Twitch is... What have I been working on Twitch? Oh, I've been working on a Necromancer that is going to be my Dread Horde Master for Death Wizards, and I also have been working on a Giant Skeleton, which he's almost done. Have you ever used any of the ultra matte black paints like Black 3.0 for minis? No. I have always heard that it is not very robust. Part of what it does to make itself incredibly flat like that and super matte is that it has to be almost fuzzy, and so it will rub off of something that you're, putting in a case and carrying around a bunch. So yeah, no, I've never done that. Enjoyed the holiday camp vibe with TMX at the Grunehagen. Fun time. Yeah, and I heard from somebody, my wife knows somebody at the university who's like, now they're wondering if it was a smart idea to make it so that they only have campus events at that location and they don't have outside events like we were anymore. They're like, maybe that was a bad idea. Anyway, I honestly would probably rather stay at the hotel. Especially because if we grow, the hotel can be, well, not the hotel, but the convention center can be expanded. Like we were using a third or a quarter, I think, of the overall kind of route. So like you can start to open up other sections and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just, I could see us definitely doing some expansion there if needs be. I'm going to build a basic board for Death Wizards, nothing too fancy since the terrain needs to be modular. Yeah, it's smart. Why should my stove and fridge need Wi-Fi? Yeah, our stove technically has Wi-Fi, but we were like, no, I'm not going to set it up. But it does play a little song, like when you preheat, and then when it gets to the right temperature, it does this jaunty little shanty, but it sounds kind of like again 80s arcade game music. It's kind of weird. Having an issue with knowing when to stop airbrushing and start using a regular brush. Any tips? I don't usually do details too much. I have a tendency to look at it and go, okay, I'm going to prime. And then if I'm doing a white to black zenithal, but once you're done with that, you're done. If you're doing, colors and things like that, then I don't know. I don't go in to start like, oh, well, I'm going to paint his sword now and laser, with my airbrush, and I'm going to paint his boots. And like, I have a tendency to, I generally figure out what is the majority color for the model. Like if it's a space marine, is it a blood angel or something like that? Okay, well, we know what color that's going to be. Is it a wizard wearing a purple robe? Okay, well, that's the majority of the color. Is it a mostly naked barbarian dude or whatever? Well, we know skin tone is, and then once that's done, then I go, leave the airbrush room and then go and start working on it in other ways. Can you think of a simple game in terms of build and rules? I'm looking for a gateway drug to trick my normie regular friends into wargaming. Like, do you want them to be building and buying and painting, or do you want to be like, hey, look, I have 2 forces. Why don't you sit down and I'll show you how to play this? That's a good question. Wargaming adjacent, but how can game stores compete when Wizards sells HeroQuest for over half off on Amazon, not buying on principle? Wizards is a real piece of crap, Hasbro included. They've been doing a lot lately trying to get stores basically out of the loop. Wizards of the Coast would really rather that you just buy Magic by the case directly from them, it seems. Yeah, they've been making a lot of really bad decisions, in my opinion, and if they go out of business, I will laugh and point. Yeah, I'm really not happy with Wizards and the things that they've been doing lately. Like, they've just done some of the just most boneheaded, stupid, short-sighted, dumb stuff lately. It's, yeah, I can't wait for them to go out of business and then have to sell, I don't know, Dungeons and Dragons to somebody else who will pay attention. It's just, yeah, they suck. And it does not surprise me an iota that they're selling their own product direct on Amazon for nearly half of what, that you can get it for at a store. That doesn't surprise me a bit. Moved to the East Coast and I have missed. Where did you come from, Margot? Okay. I didn't even see you over there. I just saw you in the little screen over there, and then all of a sudden I'm like, who's that? Hey, look, it's Margot. Let's see here. Where was I? Checking in from Barcelona during siesta. Nice. We moved to the East Coast, and I missed every TMX since the second. Such a fun time. Wanted to go back and host my own table. Armada, maybe. All the games I played, learned from TMX. Nice. 15 millimeters feels small. I would be unable to paint them. That's part of my issue, I think. Just had my copy of Death Wizard's Land the other day. It's a great read. The art is amazing. Looking forward to playing. I appreciate all that, and you're right. The art is amazing. Martin and Sam did awesome work. 15 millimeters no harder to paint than 28. In fact, easier because there's less detail. I still want to paint a little bit of detail, and then it's hard to do small. Thanks for answering the question about why they ship from 2 different locations. I'm always on a budget, and shipping always kills me. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, you can buy anything you want in the world pretty much, and they'll ship it to you, but shipping's expensive, especially if you're overseas or from and again, I mean overseas from where it's being made. When I order stuff and it's being made and shipped from the UK, EU, Australia, whatever, yeah, then I'm also paying a bunch of money. Heck, it's expensive for me to order stuff from Canada, and I am nearly in Canada. Like, if there wasn't a Great Lake in the way, I would be on the border of Canada. So yeah. Well, I mean, I'm in the lower part of the state, kind of. Middle part of the state. But you see what I'm saying. Let's see here. Not seeing the game stores carry Hero Quest? No, my local game store's got that in the expansions, I think. Has anyone played the non-combat wargame Ritual 28? It sounded interesting. I haven't had a chance. I haven't even heard of it. No. Greetings from Ireland. Vince was saying he wanted to kind of someday in the future make a game that wasn't about battle. He wanted to make a miniatures game that wasn't about battle. So that would be a non-combat game. If it was the thing we would do, I think I would probably try to steer him, frankly, towards doing it in Snarl, perhaps, as a zine thing. But wife and I were hoping to get TMX this year. Had a surprise pack of puppies, courtesy of a pair of fostered strays. Pretty much keeping us homebound for a while. Anyone want a big puppy? I do not, but I appreciate it. If we buy the game cards for the new game now, will we get access to the PDF cards as well, or would that be a separate purchase? I would want it to be you would get access, just like with the print book. I'll have to figure that one out. I don't know for sure. It might be a thing where I have to talk to... It might be a thing where I have to talk to our rep and say, hey, can you set this up so that everybody who bought a print thing gets an email that says, here's the PDF? That's a good question. I hadn't thought of that. There's not a built-in way to do it for it. Like, if we started from the beginning, like we did with the book, then yes. If you were to buy the print version, you would get the book for free, PDF, and same with the cards going forward. But for people who already bought the cards, I'm going to have to figure that one out. That's a good question. Just started painting minis again after being out of the hobby since 1998. My goodness gracious. Oops. Luckily, I don't have to paint any armies. No, that's good. Plus, after the resin is printed, you have to wash it and cure it, and then fumes are toxic. There's a lot going on there. I agree. That is one of the reasons. Like, the reason I was always kind of staying away from FDM a little bit is because it always was kind of looks like you got to mess with it and dial it in a whole bunch, and it just seems hard. And then when I started talking to people about these Bamboo Labs ones, like the first thing I heard was they're very fast. I think the first person to tell me about Bamboo Labs actually was John, who is the president of Monster Fight Club, the folks that make these, because they had that big, huge shipping container boat and a bunch of these at Gen Con last year. And he was showing me the shipping container boat, and he's like, "This was all 3D printed except for the flat deck parts, which were laser cut MDF." And I was like, "What?" And then he started, and I was looking at it. I'm like, "That's so smooth. It's astounding." So yeah, that he was the first person who started telling me about Bamboo Labs, and I started talking to 3D printer friends, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, those are really pretty nice." And I was like, "Okay." But then I just recently decided to pull the trigger, and it's been cool. Excuse me. Yesterday I was using a Dremel on some resin. I thought my glasses would protect my eyes. They did not. Dust gets everywhere. Oh yeah, no, resin is terrible. You really have to be careful with your sanding resin. I think it's not just poured resin. I think 3D printer resin too. But yeah, no, you have to be super careful with resin. Just started painting minis again. Read that one. Been wanting to try the pink prime for orcs that I have seen. I didn't know if I'm skilled enough to do that method, but I have to try. I haven't seen pink. The only time I see pink prime is for when you're going to be doing yellow. Hello from Albuquerque, painting some turnip 28 fodder. Nice. Artificial grass is 100% just to look good, and it's easy to maintain so you don't have to mow it or water it. Sure. You can get grass mats in stores selling model trains. It's more of exactly like what the old GW grass mats were. Gotcha. Let's see. In Central Texas, the benefit of artificial grass is water conservation and still maintaining a decent look that doesn't turn into hard packed dirt. It's environmentally awful. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a good thing, you know? Easy resin printers are made by Form Labs, very expensive. I'm familiar with them. Yeah, you're right. They are very expensive. The old flock mats the GW made are available from a Polish company now. Oh, that's kind of cool. Morning from Castleberry, Florida. Using my Warcry Underworld's Chaos Warbands as heroes for Death Wizards. Nice. Classes will be War Chief, Warrior, Hunter, Scout, Shaman, Witch, and Tribesman. Neat. Oops. Where were we? Okay, there we go. I don't like the flock. I found they can absorb odors over the years. It would probably be must or mustiness. It would be because it'd be in my basement and probably smell musty over it sometime. Getting a new game ready for Historicon 2024. Nice. How you doing, Gaddis Gaming? Just picked up Cyberpunk Red Combat Zone Starter. Excited to try it. Yeah, I am too. I've got a small project I'm working on now, but after that, I want to finish up building the models for that came in the starter box, and then I want to paint them. I only really use my Dremel tool for drilling out rivets on Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars. Works at too high an RPM for most hobby applications. Yeah, I can see that. Good to know about the A1 though. I've been looking at an FDM and wanted one that didn't have to mess around with calibrating. The A1's real nice. And yeah, like I said, it's very simple. Like, not only does it calibrate the bed height automatically by poking and poking and poking, it also does a thing where it figures out how to make itself quieter. Like, it runs the motor in a bunch of different directions and the different speeds, and it does that for a while, and then it's able to like use active noise canceling somehow. And then what's the other thing it does? Oh, then it calibrates for vibration, and it vibrates everything in a certain direction. Yeah, it's neat. What are your thoughts on Steamforge buying Privateer Press? Oh, I'm like, Steamforge? Steamforge Press, right. Well, from what I understand, they didn't buy Privateer Press. Like, the way that because I read both of the press releases, it seems like Steamforge bought War Machine, but Privateer Press is going to continue to make it. Design it is the better word. It looks like, from what I can tell, it almost seems like in the video game industry when you have the developer and then the publisher, right? And it almost feels like they're going in that direction. Privateer Press is still the developer. They're going to still continue to make the rules. They're going to design the things, blah, blah, blah. But the publisher is going to basically get it out into more stores, market it. They're going to be actually making the starters, at least, in actual real plastic as opposed to being 3D printed resin. They're allegedly also going to, from what they were saying in the thing, help them with the 3D printed resin manufacturing in different locations all over the world. So but it didn't look like they're buying Privateer Press. They were very specific about they were buying War Machine and Iron Kingdoms and all the other stuff, but they weren't buying Privateer Press, which is sort of weird. And Privateer Press seems like they're still going to be in business. They're just not going to be. It's like they're going to get paid to work on their own stuff, which, I mean, honestly, they were circling the drain, so it's probably for the best. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Andy Chambers for Conflict 47. What did I say? Andy Summers? That's the guy from The Police. I don't think he's going to be doing that. No. I don't even know if he's still alive. I can't remember. Maybe Andy Summers passed away from The Police. I know Sting's still around. Anyway, yeah, Andy Chambers, not Andy Summers. Different dude altogether. I run both filament and resin printers. Resin is easy once you have the exposure and the lift time set properly for your chosen resin. Observe the recommended print temps. Warm it. See, the problem is that, again, like I said, then there's the washing and the curing, and then trying to figure out what to do with leftover resin that's in the wash thing and all that kind of stuff. Like this, there was like one booger that it kicked out, one poop when it was getting it set up, and that was it. So that's why I kind of like that. But Andy Chambers, Andy Summers, and The Police, exactly. Thematically, goblins or kobolds? Goblins. You have quite easy listening voice. Thank you, I appreciate it. I got something in my throat right now. I think you would do well as a FM DJ, sir. Do people listen to the radio anymore? I have no idea. Caramel crisp cookies, super good. Came home with a dozen. The popcorn and nice, and it was pretty awesome as well. Yeah, they got lots of snacks over there. Snacks and it's like a gift shop too. But they also have a cafe and do sandwiches and things like that, so that's good. I'm keen to get the downloadable cards. To buy the book and the cards, physical is over $100 Australian. Yeah, that's the shipping is hard the other side of the planet. One Page Rules is getting my attention these days. Next, I'll be using my repainted Battleship Galaxies models for Warfleets. Nice. 3D printing scares me in the same way paper jams scare me in my work printer. Have we truly mastered 2D? I mean, no, I don't think we have. I'm excited to hopefully getting into Conflict 47. It's a cool setting. I love the setting. I'm interested in it. I like the models for the most part too, but it was just, there was literally like nobody. And that's not a game that's super easy to just be like, oh, I'll just build and paint two forces and then I'll be able to teach people. Cause it's like a force is usually like 20 or more models plus a vehicle. And so that's why that one's not, I don't consider that to be a skirmish game. And so that's part of the issue there. It's county. That's me. Oh, I know you're here, Jordan. I just couldn't remember if it was county or country. Now available at Modifius. Indeed. Yeah. Congrats. Get those two things right, and your prints will come out good every time. Yes, there's slicing to deal with, but you have to do it with FDM too. Yeah, the slicer is really easy in the Bamboo Labs thing. I really like it. And like I said, like I can be sitting here at the computer, make the slicer thingy go, and like, okay, cool, and then just send it directly to the printer, and I hear it kick in down the basement because it actually sits on the Wi-Fi properly. Plus, I could be like I could be someplace, I don't know, let's say I'm at a game store or over someplace, and I could text my wife and say, hey, can you go downstairs and pop the thing off of the plate? Because it's also got the nice magnetic plate, which I like. So you can pop it off the plate and then put it back on there, and then I can use the app and then tell it, okay, print that again, and then it will just start printing. And that's kind of cool too. Like Hank from Adepticon, I think he has 12 of the P1Ss. He's got like a huge farm of them because they print all the terrain and stuff like that for Adepticon. And so he was just like, we were in Milwaukee. He's just like showing me, he's like, well, this one's currently offline because it must be unplugged or something, but this one's good. He's just showing me all this. I could print this and I could do this. I could, I said, he's like, I could call my kid and say, hey, can you pop that off? And then, set it someplace and then put the plate back on and then just boom. So it's neat. Graffiti for terrain suggestions. There are some water slide decals that I've seen that are not bad. There may be smaller scale because they're designed a little bit more for 6mm, like Steel Rift and stuff like that, but they might have some bigger ones though. Death Ray Designs is a place that I saw water slide decals for graffiti that would probably be what you're looking for potentially. Otherwise, personally, I do stencils. I cut stencils. I have a Cricut vinyl cutter type thing, and I cut stencils out of frisket film, and then I airbrushed the graffiti. It's a little different, but it works. It's just not super fine like, tagging or whatever. That's not going to work. Anyone know where to find minis that are similar to the Knucklebones miniatures in terms of the handmade aesthetic? What the heck is the name of that company? Die Hard Minis, Die Hard Miniatures. Maybe take a look at them. They're not printable though. Like that's the thing. So if you're looking for like just buying actual miniatures, then that's one thing. But if you're looking to find another company that does STLs that look hand done, that I haven't come across. So someone else might have to do that or let you know about that. Rex, what are you doing? George, don't chase your brother. With Death Wizards now released, have you started thinking about the next game you'll make? Oh yeah, the game for Snarl is underway, and we haven't completely decided yet. We have one of two options for next spring's game, and we're not sure. Well, we have more than that, but we were thinking one thing, and now maybe we're thinking of a different thing, and then having that thing we were thinking about doing for 2025, maybe making it 2026. We're not sure which the order is going to be. We've got two ideas, and we're not sure which order is finished yet. But the game for this fall, that'll be in the next zine, Snarl, that game is already underway. Slow day today, building custom bases for my 1/24th scale model kits. I should get some glue activator. That stuff is... I'm nervous about that stuff. I use it once in a while, but it makes me a little nervous. I don't know. It's got fumes that I'm not sure about. Look at Bright minis for ones that look similar to Knucklebones. Bright, B-R-I-T-E. Interesting. If you were looking for STLs. Gotcha. Looking at the Bamboo Labs A1 doesn't seem to have any sort of spot for a spool of filament. Do you have to buy some sort of separate... No, it's got a thing, and they just don't show it in the pictures. It comes with it. It snaps on top, and then holds up the spool. I asked that question, too. I was like, but it's in there. They just don't seem to show it in the pictures for some reason. I think it's because they really would like you to buy the weird add-on thing that sits on the side that can hold 4 spools, and then you can swap her up. Nah. If you don't buy the one with the AMS, I think is what they called it, which I don't know what that stands for. Automatic Material Switcher. Maybe. But no, it comes with a doohickey. If you scroll way down to the bottom part of the website, it shows you all the stuff that it comes with. They just don't put it up towards the top. At least that's the way I remember it. Terrier Halo, how you doing? Really cool session you did on Vince's podcast. Oh, on Warhammer Weekly. Yep, on Wednesday. Anyone interested in creating a game? Check it out. Yeah, this last week on Warhammer Weekly, over on Vince's channel, it was me and Vince and Tom Lyons, who's on that show most of the time anyway, but he's also our lead developer. It says right in here in the book. Yes. So we're the designers, but the developer, and I did not know this before I started doing this stuff with Vince, knew this ahead of time, but so the designers are the people that kind of come up with the game, and the developers are the ones that try to break it. Basically, that's the simplified version. What they do is they try to mathematically look for all of the things, because what you don't want is a game where there's one way to win. Like, well, if you do it this way, you're guaranteed to win. If you don't do it that way, you're not. That kind of stuff. So you're always looking for these, like, you also don't want a game that's impossible to win. You don't want a game where you're like, if you do this and this and this with that build, no matter how good you play, how well your dice work, there's no way for you to possibly win. You don't want that too. So the main job of the lead designer, besides more playtesting, which is what we're doing as well, is to mathematically look for variances and a bunch of other math terms and stuff like that. And then he and Vince fix that stuff so that those problems aren't there. And then that's an important role. So we pay him to do that, and he's done it on all 4 of our games. So he did it on Tanks of the Apocalypse too. So 4.5 games, let's say that. He does good work. Also, if you want to hear Vince get real salty about Age of Sigmar, the faction articles that they've been putting up on Warhammer community, he kind of had a bit of a rant, and he is not wrong in any way. Out of curiosity, will a grow light cure resin? It does work on my glow zone disc. I don't know. That's a good question. Our new dishwasher has app controls to unlock some advanced modes. Not sure having it pop open when it's done is worth the hassle. Yeah, exactly. Our TV died, and I had to go buy a new TV, and it was just like as soon as you turn it on, it's like, oh hey, hook me to the internet and do this and this and this. I'm like, no, don't want any of that. Nope. Because that's the thing. Like we have a little box that does the apps and stuff like that, so we can watch Netflix and this and that, and that's a separate thing. I'm never interested in using the smart apps that are on your smart TV because two problems. Number one, from what I understand, those smart apps just eat your data. Like you just that like the part of them that giving you these free access to free apps is that because then they get free user data that they can sell and make money off of and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just not interested in doing that as much. The second problem though is then they get you going on it and you're watching YouTube through the YouTube app, and then after 2 years they're like, oh no, we can't update that app anymore, you gotta get a new TV. Get out of here. So I would rather buy a new box, whether it's a Roku or an Apple box or Chromecast or Fire or whatever, blah blah blah. I'd rather buy one of those and snap it on there, and then yeah, that's better. Same thing with cars a little bit. When I was in Canada, I rented a car, and it was a Kia, a Hyundai. It was a Hyundai, and the inbuilt dashboard nav system was not only terrible but also wrong, like a bunch. And this was a relatively new car, and you'd be driving along and it'd be like, hey, take a turn here, and I'm like, I can see there used to be a road there, there's not one now. So I would just rather let my phone, which is constantly updated, I'd rather like pay attention to that and not pay attention to the car nav. But yeah. Have you looked at necromolds? Any thoughts on it? I don't have any kids, but it looks like it's a cool, fun idea for kids. I like the concept. It's like kind of like you use Play-Doh, kind of, and then you make your miniatures. You have these little spell books, which are like little molds. You put some, Play-Doh-y type stuff in there. You close it, and now you have like a cool little monster. And then you use the monsters as your miniatures. And then when you kill a monster, you have this big plastic ring with your symbol on it or whatever, and then you get to squish the monster down, and then it has like, you can see your symbol on it, you leave it there, and it becomes like a terrain piece or something like that. I don't know. It's kind of cool. I watched like an explanation about it or whatever on YouTube and something like that. But yeah, it's not something that I would be interested in playing, but again, if you had kids though, I think it'd be perfect. It's called Necromolds. Let's see here. Gaslands is an easy on-ramp to minis gaming. Who didn't play with toy cars as a kid? True. Summer wargaming plans are mostly painting as much as I can. Zone Wars and Majestic 13 in the cabin with the wife. Nice. So glad that there is a fighter-ish leader option for Death Wizards. I have tons of undead minis, but I don't want to play mages in TTRPG games, let alone any Necromancer minis. Yeah, the War Reaper is a pretty good. If we wanted to have that there be different play styles, because not everybody wants to play the same way. So that was a big portion of the reason why that was done too. Morning from Southern California. PS2 user, no, P1S user, and the high cost of bamboo printers is 100% worth it to keep the headaches and issues at a minimum. Pretty much only brand I recommend to friends at the gaming club. And honestly, like I said, the A1 is like $400, which is not that expensive. I mean, I know you can get cheaper 3D printers out there, for filament for sure, but it was incredibly easy. Cat tax paid. No, she left. I have a good chunk of July and August off, and summer isn't long here. Not going to spend much time in the basement at our wargame bunker. I mean, that's fine. I'm gonna ride around on. I'm gonna do some biking this year, some bicycling, but that's yeah. Otherwise, I'm not a big outdoorsman. Build terrain and prime stuff outside, and that's nice. That's yeah. Our cat wins any wargaming table. This huge, adorable monster knocks over the minis. They're definitely worth it. I don't let the cats in the basement. Sometimes George likes to get down there, but he yeah. And then we bring him back up. Honestly, I don't believe that HeroQuest is selling like they thought it would, but that's what you get when you don't make it accessible. Sure. I still build Gaslands vehicles. Nice. Just got my friend into wargaming. He's pushing for a 10,000 point Stormcast Eternals. He has half so far. That's a lot. That's a lot. First, TMX, keep it at the hotel. Came all the way from Detroit. Don't want to relive the college life. I can understand that. Pretty sure my summer plans is just Age of Sigmar 4th edition. Got my first army banged out Night Hunt yesterday. And my FLGS is doing a blind choice spearhead tournament. You pick 3 factions they choose. Huh. How do you keep cats away from the minis? Mine seem to have plastic-seeking whiskers, and we'll find them whenever I hide them and when I'm in progress. Like I said, there's a door, and they don't go in the basement because we leave them out. But yeah, if we did let them go down to the basement, they would be down there and probably wreck shop sort of frequently. I was thinking I would be painting everything. I should have wide appeal so that the look doesn't distract them. I know it's a hard mix. No World War II stuff that makes me feel weird. Grew up playing first edition D&D, and in many ways I still prefer first edition to any or other. Sure. Vince was to make a miniature game about growing potatoes in Ireland. Robot squirrels growing potatoes in Ireland? I don't think so. GW is leaving money on the table by not giving us previous editions and PDFs. The models would still sell. I have been talking about the fact that there should be a print-on-demand version of Mordheim available on Wargame Vault right now. I've been talking about it. They are stupid for not doing it. If they don't seem to have any interest in like making a new version of Mordheim, which they kind of don't, then it would take an intern about 3 days tops to take the current PDF, which I know they have the current PDF. I'm sure they don't have the original files anymore, because even if they did, they'd be maybe Quark Express files or something like that from 1995. They wouldn't work anymore. But if they have a PDF, they could easily put each page of the PDF and just drop it into a page in InDesign or Affinity Publisher or whatever, and then publish the book like we do with Death Wizards. And Wizards of the Coast is smart enough to put all their old books up on DriveThruRPG. Battletech, those guys do a lot of the old books and stuff like that, print on demand. You're just literally, it's fire and forget. You upload this thing, put it up there, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. Those companies fulfill it, ship it, produce it, all that stuff. It never runs out of stock. Because the old Mordheim was black and white, except for some color plates in the middle. Get rid of those. You don't need those. You could easily produce a book. Like, we sell this for $18 and we still make some profit. GW could make a book roughly the same thickness, probably a bit thicker. It'd probably be closer to Majestic 13, which is 144 pages roughly. This we sold for $19. They'd sell it for $45, probably, and still make probably $20 profit. I don't know. It's weird. I do not understand why they don't want to do that. Let's see here. My summer plans are to clear out current projects so I can get back to Legions Imperialis. I have a lot of tiny tanks. Oh, yeah. Just got in 40K. Thought my first combat patrol in January. Nice. Painting since then and played my first game Wednesday. Nice. Just want to say thanks for the great content. Kept me going with my painting. Well, good to hear, Chris. State of Play had a really good vid on resin printing yesterday. State of Play. I don't know who that is. I haven't come across that. What's your opinion on War Machine going to Steamforge Games? Good or bad? Steamforge seem like nice folks. I had a conversation with Matt. I can't think of his last name. He's the president or whatever, or the founder. I don't know. He's got a Guild Ball tattoo. Matt. It's not Matt Ward. Matt something. I can't think of his last name. It's short. It's 4 letters. And it's like Ward, but it's not. Anyway, he and I hung out, actually. He was hanging out so when I was at that convention or that trade show in Canada, it was a 2-day trade show. First day was like 8 hours long, which was brutal. Second day was like 3 or 4 hours long, which was weird. Anyway, our booth, the Army Painter booth was right next to the Steamforge Games booth, and there's like a relationship between those companies and stuff like that. When I went to the trade show in Madison, Wisconsin, I was supposed to do a paint and take kind of thing on Thursday night, but I couldn't because that was the night we were launching the game. It was like literally it was the day before the 24th of May, which is when we were launching Death Wizards. So I was like, I can do the trade show, but I can't do the thing at night. So one of the Faroz, I forget his name exactly, but he's a super nice guy, super Scottish, really, really super nice guy. Anyway, he did the paint and take and everything, all that stuff. So it was fine. So yeah, those folks are nice. But anyway, Matt sat in. He basically came over and sat in the Army Painter booth and painted a mini because I had the paints, and so he just sat there and painted for like, I don't know, 2-3 hours, and we just talked about stuff. And he actually kind of said, because I mentioned something about War Machine, he's like, yeah, you're gonna probably hear something about that pretty soon. And that was like, I don't know, whatever, when was that? Early May. So he didn't say what it was. I just assumed maybe they were going to start doing something with them in some fashion. I did not realize they were buying all the IP. I think the other option is that Privateer shuts down. Like that Privateer was kind of circling the drain. They've not been like they used to be. So I'm hoping that Steamforge can turn it around and make it cool. Let's see here. Where was I? Good or bad? I have my paints and minis to paint here, but I'm outside working on the garden. I'm waiting for some Imperial officer to show up and drag me back to the painting table. I'll hide a weakness in there. Nice. Do you have any opinions on the old world? I wasn't interested at all, but learning more about it, I'm jumped in and building my Bretonia core set right now. I don't like rank and flank. I've just never have liked the moving a rectangle of people. It's why I don't play Kings of War. It's why I don't play Conquest: Last Argument of Kings. Yeah, I've just never really liked rank and flank games. I'm not saying that they're bad. They're not for me. So there's that. Which Bamboo Lab printer did you get again? Did you make a video about it? I might have missed it. Apologies. No, I literally just got it on Thursday, so I haven't. Yeah, it's an A1 Bamboo Labs A1, and it's spelled BAMBU, not bamboo like the plant. I guess I don't know why, but yeah. Thursday. Yeah, I got it on Thursday. Yep, I got that 3D printed terrain that I bought from not Laser Mark, Laser Craft Workshop. I bought that at TMX, but they had to ship it to me. Anyway, that showed up on Friday. Best way to get into 3D printing is find a friend who likes to do it and throw money at them. That's how I've been doing resin printing for a while. I have a 3D printer. His name is Dave, and he's great. So yes, that's how I've been doing that. But I do enjoy doing like so far the FDM has been great. Hello from Hurricane, West Virginia. Count me as one of your fans who has no interest in wargaming but finds your voice fantastic to listen to. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Thank you. You should take a look at wargaming if you're into that. Just FYI. Hello from Austin, Texas. Painting Union and Confederates for Epic Black Powder. Nice. Liked the last vid. Well, thank you. It got me thinking a lot about basing. I used to base thematically, but if I want to mix units, a more uniform scheme would be interesting. Thought-provoking. Yeah, I've been doing that for a while. All my sci-fi stuff basically has the same type of basing, which is like urban concrete or urban asphalt with some rubble on it. And I use the same colors, the same dry brush, the same wash, all that stuff, so that when I pick up like, this, like, I don't know, a Redemptor Dreadnought, and then put like 4 or 5 Adeptus Mechanicus guys around him, and also something else, whatever, even from a different company or whatever, they all kind of have the same base as far as it looks are concerned. And that, for me, it's just in my weird head, I'm like, that I would prefer that. So I do that. It also just makes things easier. Now, every once in a while, I break off from that. My Star Wars guys are all on desert bases. My Steel Rift guys are all on desert bases. But for the most part, I generally try to keep it that way. And then for fantasy stuff, I generally go kind of with a mud and some rocks kind of base. So it's like some brown and some gray and all that kind of stuff. So I have a recipe for both. Added a flex shaft attachment and a foot pedal rheostat control to control the speed. You can get a lot of control then. To my Dremel. Oh, yeah. Disposal is the hardest part. Yeah, yeah. I listen to FM when driving. Oh, yeah. I used to listen to my iPod all the time, and now I listen to like Spotify, but I don't know. I'm not sure about Spotify. Hello from sunny southeast Michigan. How you doing, John? Good morning from Seattle. Just pulled some angry villagers off the build plate. My necromancer is going to teach them a lesson or two later, or maybe three, but that sounds great. Awesome. Can't wait for the first 4D printer. I don't even know what that would be. Goes back in time? Smell? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know what the fourth dimension is. Thinking of using Death Wizards to also work on Kings of War. I swear they have factions without any miniatures. Agnostic it is. I mean, I get that. I ran my Mayan-themed Death Wizards the other day. Loved it. Nice. Getting into Conflict 47. I picked up 2 of the starter boxes, US and Japan. They come with like 20 standard troops, a special unit, a walker, and a tank for $80. Like, they're cheap. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the thing. It's not expensive to get into, but it's more models than I'm usually used to, as far as just like, oh, I'm gonna build 2 forces and all that kind of stuff. But as a hobby mini and model builder painter turning 52 in 4 days, I miss my younger eyeballs the most. Yeah, I have been definitely using like magnifier things in certain situations. They're very helpful, actually. You can get them relatively inexpensive. Even just like reading glasses can help sometimes, but sometimes those kind of magnifiers work pretty well. I've seen decal sheets for graffiti. I think it was by AK or one of those Spanish companies. Gotcha. Does your bamboo machine come with a magnetic flex bed? Yes, came with it. Yep. I've had decal sheets for graffiti from Wooski models. Never heard of them. Interesting. Tanks of the Apocalypse. Who doesn't like tanks? Where's the PDF? If you just go to snarlingbadger.com, you can, and up in the top in the thingy, there is there's like home and then games, and then next to that it says like Snarl Zine. If you click there, it'll take you. Make your own activator out of baking soda and water. I thought it was something like that, but it smells weird. Like there's something else in there too. Maybe something to make it evaporate quicker? I don't know. Model Railroad Supply has it for boxcars and subway cars in scales. Oh, interesting. Not sure what that acronym stands for. Proceeds to guess. Maybe? Reminds me of my mom. I don't know if I will give you a made-up guess that sounds extremely believable, yeah. Isn't Model Railroad O scale 1/48? I think that's the close one to what we usually do. Online TVs can also be bricked if you do not agree to new user agreements, which eliminate your rights to litigation. Yeah, see, I'm not messing with any of that jazz. Necromolds looks fun, just not sure I can get my son to play the actual game. Sure. Skeletons for the win. I think that my plan for my new Death Wizards horde is the necromancer that I'm working on now, who's going to be a dread horde master, and then it's going to be just a buttload of skeletons, and then also one giant skeleton. Who the giant skeleton's almost done, and I think that'll be what I'll be doing. 3D printers are expensive, and I have to spend hobby money this month on an Olympic bar. Why on earth would someone buy a bar for $700? I will never understand. I don't know what that means. I don't know what an Olympic bar is. I'm more of a fall outside fan. Living in the extreme heat means that I'm an indoor guy until then. Yeah, I understand that. Guess I will try to get my heap of opportunity a little smaller during my holidays. Sure, makes sense. I mean, that would be like a lot of fun. Like, I kind of sort of took this past week kind of as a holiday. Not really, in that I had to do a bunch of things. I had to basically try to set up the studio again after the windows finally got refurbished and all that kind of stuff. And I did make a video anyway and all that kind of jazz. But I did take it a little bit easy. Did a live show with Vince on Sunday or on Wednesday night. Monday, again, I didn't really do much of anything, but I did stream still on Twitch on Monday night. So it's not that I took the entire day to do nothing. I just took a good portion of the beginning part of it. Watched a terrible movie. Watched this movie about mechs and stuff like that called Atlas. It's on Netflix, and it has Jennifer Lawrence in it, and it's just not good. Anyway, do you play D&D or any other tabletop RPGs with figures to use if you do? I don't. I have. Like, how I got into gaming in general is in the 5th grade. I started playing D&D. Um, but the most recent time I played Dungeons and Dragons was like 3.5. Well, no, that's not true. We did play in 5th edition when I was working at Milk Can. We would play during lunch once in a while. We would have some lunch. Matt from Milk Can slash Game4 Matt Gaming Matter. He would run some D&D on some days during lunch. But yeah, that was pre-pandemic, so that was probably like 2019 was the last time that I played. I had a cleric or a paladin. I think it was a cleric. I'm pretty sure it was a cleric. I'd never played a cleric before. I built my necromancer from the GW Arcane Mystic Battle Wizards kit and should begin playing it tonight. Nice. I have one Splintered Fang model left to finish first. A crew I've only taken 2 years to paint. Nice. Bit behind, but agree with you on your thoughts about GW and Mordheim. Mordheim has a good game, the only GW I've played. Yeah, like I said, I mean, people were running Mordheim, I think, both days at TMX. It's still, it's still a very valid game. I have this sticker here that I'm going to put on my bike that I got at Adepticon, and it's a Nemo sticker, and Nemo stands for New England Mordheim Open. These guys had like 100 Mordheim players this year at their event, which was in Connecticut or Michigan or Massachusetts. I don't remember which one. It's over in that area though, and it was back in January. Evidently, they're going to do it again this year, but I think, or next year, 2025. But I think they're going to try to aim it more towards April. So hopefully, I won't be in Denmark. I mean, I want to go to Denmark again. Don't get me wrong. Hopefully it's not the same time, is what I'm saying. Let's see here. Quark Express, the days as a graphic art student. Oh yeah. I mean, I think that program's still around. Maybe not. I have no idea. But that's the thing. You may still have. They may even be able to find the original files, but whether the software will open them, I don't know. But if they have a PDF, and I know they do, you could literally just take each page of the PDF and just drop it into a page in something new like InDesign or whatever, and then output it, and it'll be fine. Graphic art student. My only concern about the Steamforged buyout of War Machine is that what's going to happen to Monster Apocalypse, which has the best game Privateer Press had. There's something with Mythic. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think that's a separate thing altogether. Potentially dumb question, but how do I know if my speed paints are 2.0 or original? So, I can tell you. It's either balls or cans. Now, the earliest... So, if a bottle says 2.0 on it, it's 2.0, which is pretty obvious. But the earliest speed paint 2.0s that they put out, and I have some of these because they sent me a set real early, they were speed paint 2.0, but they didn't say 2.0 on the label. And then later they were like, shoot, we should probably put it on the label. And then they did. But if you have a bottle of speed paint and you don't know if it's speed paint 2.0 or not, on the back of the bottle, on the label, it will either show two silver little mixing balls, or it will show 2 cans of spray primer. If it shows a little picture of 2 little mixing balls, then that is speed paint 1, or 1.0, whatever you want to call it. But if it doesn't say 2.0, but when you flip around, look at the back, and it shows 2 spray cans, then that is 2.0. It's just the earlier version when they didn't have the label updated, basically. But yeah, so balls on the back of the old ones, cans on the back of the new ones. So. I went hard into Hordes, War Machine, and Monster Apocalypse. Like too many games. My local store just stopped playing. This happens too much with too many games. Magic the Gathering never stops, though. Well, they still play Magic the Gathering at my local store, but they just play Commander. Like they don't. My local store hasn't run an official Friday Night Magic event with DCI and the whole deal since pre-pandemic. He was telling me that not too long ago. I was like, oh, so the pandemic really knocked that out. He's like, we stopped doing it in 2019. He's like, nobody wanted to play Standard anymore. They just wanted to play, Commander, and Magic or whatever. Wizards of the Coast doesn't seem to, from what I understand, doesn't seem to track Commander very well. I don't know whatever the deal is. So yeah, it was a whole thing. Again, I don't know a ton about it, but that's what I remember him. I think remember him saying. Let's see here. What are you doing, Rex? Did you find a cardboard box? Rex. Oh, he's full of beans. Hero Forge is nice for the custom aspect. Our bard has a substance abuse flaw, so we made a mini for the occasion. He rolled one in Constitution check. Oh, wow. Bamboo is trademarkable. Bamboo is harder. Probably also it's a SEO thing. Like it's if you know the name of the company, you type it in right, you're more likely to find it. But if the name of the company was Bamboo, like the plant, and you typed in Bamboo Labs, you might not find it right away. So that could be part of it. Just woke up from an all-nighter painting the Kill Team starter set, scrap piles, and Sector Frontierist terrains. Nice. She'll be the Summer of Death Wizards in Kill Team. Cool. How you doing, Annihilation? For me, the easiest and least expensive and fun game by GW was Battlefleet Gothic. I gather the A1 you guys were discussing is the standard one and not the mini? Yeah, no, I didn't get the mini. I got the standard one. I don't know how much smaller the mini one is. I'm already cursing I ever heard of Mythic. If only I could get back my $400. Yeah. Hello from El Paso, Texas, working on Easterlings for my Battle Companies map campaign. Nice. PVA filament is water soluble and great for supports. Like PVA glue? Neat. What are your summer wargaming plans, sir? So for me, this is the summer of terrain, and it's not because of the 3D printer. That's kind of just sort of happened, and here we are. But that will be part of it. I have I got like at least three different terrain projects that I want to work on, and at least two of them I'm going to definitely make videos about. One of them I may not, but we're not sure. So this is Necromunda Zone Mortalis terrain. I have a bunch of if you'll look here in the picture, there's like these tiles. Those tiles are not in this box, but you can buy the tiles separately. And they're just like 1 foot by 1 foot plastic tiles that you just set up, and then these things sort of like snap into them, but you don't have like they like slot into them. They don't snap. You don't have to unsnap them. They just sort of fit in there. But these are a bunch of columns and walls and little doors and junk like that. I have the tiles. I have at least 3 boxes of the tiles, and there's 4 tiles per box. I have way more tiles than I'm probably going to need, but we'll see. Anyway, a friend of Sam's, who's a nice guy who's at TMX, his name is Raven. He lives basically between me and Sam. And so I got invited over to his house, and they were playing in the basement. They were playing Combat Patrol. This is before, I don't know, this is back in May, I think. Or no, maybe it was late April. Anyway, long story short is he has a lot of those Necromunda tiles as well, but instead of just like making a bunch of things and sort of slotting them into the spots and making them all modular, he's glued everything together, because then you can get into, like, you can do all kinds of stuff. He's got pipes that run into the ground because he can cut holes in it, like all kinds of stuff like that. When you decide to glue those things down, you can make really interesting kind of setups, and it kind of inspired me. So I'm like, well, I've already got a bunch of the tiles, and I've got some of the terrain, but I bought a little bit more. And so I'm going to try to make, at the very least, I'm going to start this summer by making a 2 foot by 2 foot board. So it's basically going to be 4 tiles. That's one thing. Whether I'll make a video about that project or not, I'm not sure. Maybe. But the other 2 projects that I am working on, those are going to be a video, at least per, if not maybe a couple, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't know how multi-part videos work very well these days, at least not for me. But yeah, I do want to do a bunch of terrain stuff. That's my main goal. That, and then also, my wife and I have started working on the basement. We've cleared some space. I've got to clear some more. And so I'm working on that. And then also the third thing, which is completely unrelated to some degree, is also my other big project, is I'm working on merch, both for Tabletop Minions, but also new merch for Death Wizards and also Majestic 13. Basically updating adding things to the Snarling Badger merch store, and then also making a whole new merch store for Tabletop Minions using the same company that we started using Snarling Badger's merch store for. It's a better company. So yeah, those are the three big things. But as far as wargaming is concerned, terrain, probably also at least one spearhead, and then I was just talking with Sam yesterday, and we're going to start playing some Flames of War. I have one warband already built and painted, which I was working on them on Twitch, and I have a second warband of mechs that I want to start working on soon. Yeah, so Flames of Orion is a indie mech game made by Steve from the Hive Scum podcast, Under the Dice, etc. Steve is one of the guys that ran Nemo, the New England Mordheim Open. He was at TMX, and they were running demos there. So Sam's been really digging like I've never known Sam to play mech games before, but he's been really enjoying Flames of Orion. So anyway, I want to do another. I've got a video idea for doing another group for Flames of Orion, like a kit bashing kind of thing, and I think that can make a fun video. So, let's see here. And then as far as conventions, there are going to be some conventions. I'm going, like I said, to Gen Con at the end, like last day of July is when we're leaving, and then end of August is Nova Open, which is in DC. Can't agree more about proper PPE for resin minis. Even after curing, I recently got a nail dust collector and a Levoit air purifier with a toxins filter. Nice. Like even pourable resin, like when you get like, I don't know, Forge World stuff like that, they always tell you got to wear a mask when you're sanding on it and stuff like that. Army Painter, Ammo Grime, Knuckle Bones, mini files. I mean, you might find it interesting that I'm currently using my printer to fix a part of my coolant line that broke on my car. Nobody in town has a replacement. I mean, that's also a cool thing that you can do with 3D printers, for sure. The only rank and flank I liked was War Master. It was an 8mm scale Warhammer fantasy game. Yeah, I've heard of it, yeah. Space Weirdos? Space Weirdos is great. Life begins at 40, so I'm 13 now. Yeah, that's the ticket. See, there you go. When I drive, I try to listen to the radio, but end up turning it down to 0 most of the time. Point is that you make your own activator and you know what's in it, and it works fine. I'm a chemistry teacher. Oh, well, that's cool. I mean, yeah, like I said, there's something smells weird in the regular activator sometimes, and it makes me nervous. What I usually do for activator these days, instead of spraying it on, I will just drip it on. So if you unscrew the pump activator thing out of the bottle, and you have the little hose that goes down there to suck the stuff up while you pump it, if you just do it right, you can just have a drop of it at the end, just go boop, and then just touch it, and it works out okay. Fourth dimension is time. Perhaps a 4D printer prints and teleports the minis to the time you needed them months and years ago? Weird. Is the next Snarl game a likely game for Adepticon, or will you run another tanks? That's a good question, actually. I don't know. That's a good question. We'll have to think about that a little bit. I wouldn't mind running tanks again, since then we could just use the same terrain and everything again, but we'll see. Olympic bar is a weightlifting bar. I found one for $700. Wow. Hello from Ireland. Just got my Kickstarter Mutant Year Zero super miniature game. I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it. That's cool, though. Jennifer Lopez, not Lawrence. Did I say Lawrence again? I keep getting them confused. Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, it was no good. I haven't seen a movie with Jennifer Lawrence in it for a while. I've been taking a break from Wargames Miniatures to work on plastic model airplanes for a change. Oh, that's cool. Let's see here. Atlas's special effects gave me hope for future good mech show. There were parts of that movie that the special effects were good, and other parts where I thought they were bad, and I thought that was interesting. Earlier on in the movie, I was like, and then later on, I was like, oh, that's better. Most new Mordheim players I talk to seem happy to download the PDFs for free from Broheim these days, and when I mention paper printing and hard copies, they think I'm crazy. I don't know, a lot of people like print stuff, man. I gotta be honest, like so many people. Like, I would have never thought when we started doing our books that the print books were going to sell as well as they did. But the print books, like the vast majority of people are buying the printed versions as opposed to just PDF only. So yeah, if it has toucans on it, that's a different type. That's a bird. Let's see here. Down the PDFs for free. One odd thing about Cyberpunk Red Starter, it doesn't come with gonks, which I feel is like an essential mechanic. Gonks are minions that activate while the rest of your team refreshes actions. Yeah, I mean, I've heard about that. I guess you could use all kinds of different things, couldn't you? I don't know. Monpak is a great game, and the minis for the main monsters are beautiful and fun as heck to paint. Cool. Wizards even rescheduled the rotation for standard to try to keep more interest, but I don't think it worked. Well, the fact that they're coming out with a new set monthly now, or is it even faster than that? You couldn't keep up, you know? Got 2 miniatures to use as my aliens for Majestic 13, and I have some soldier minis on the way. Nice. I attended a one-day charity Horus Heresy event yesterday called Pride of the Legion. A good day for a great cause, but now I'm hoarse, and this can be and need at least a day to recover. Yeah, that happens for me at conventions quite frequently. Brush on primer is great for when you need to ignore weather outside. I use it often. Yeah, I can see that. UV light cures resin, but it doesn't also cure super glue. I don't know. That's a good question. I think moisture has more likeliness to cure super glue. What I have a tendency to do, if I've got like something on a base or whatever, and I'll kind of just like breathe on it, like you're trying to fog up your glasses, or you're trying to clean them, or you kind of do that. You do that a lot, and that can cause it to set a little bit quicker sometimes. I drift away from speed/contrast paints as well. Just more control with standard acrylics. I don't prime with a brush though. Hello from Nottingham, working on finishing and basing some 1994 vintage Chonky Boy high elf plastics for Old World, and I will finish an army before GW kills it again. Who knows? Well, maybe not.
This is why they're all full of beans.
Oh, my wife is swapping out the look at these things you put in the wall. It's called fell away, something like that, and it's like a Glade plug-in, but it's supposed to make cats calm down a little bit. So turns out they're all kind of empty, so she just is updating one. There's one over there. And that's why some of the cats are full of beans. I mean, Rex is just going to be like that, I think. If you want some great plastic modern soldiers, look at the April issue of Wargames Illustrated with the free sprue of Warlord Games Special Ops Troopers. Maker's Mark brush on primer on my wet palette. Isn't Maker's Mark a booze? Or am I thinking of something else? Merch equals Nick t-shirts. Yep. Excited to hear you're getting merch ready. Absolutely. Death Wizard's Raglan 3/4 sleeve shirt. Who's it going to hurt? I don't know. I don't know if they do that. Maybe they do. Never bothered even trying the contrast paints. $11 plus tax per bottle is a deal breaker. Yeah, I can understand that. Take a look at the speed paints. They'll be cheaper for sure. Like $2 or $3 cheaper at least, I think. What's your favorite Warhammer mini? Does that mean which one that I own the most of? Because it's probably then going to be, I don't know what they call him anymore. They used to call him Nurgle Chaos Lord, but nowadays he's that guy. He's like a big fat guy, and he's got like an axe that he's holding down low, kind of a little bit below his gut, and like some of his like organs and stuff are like hanging out over the handle of the axe that he's holding. Like I said, they used to call him Nurgle Chaos Lord, but now they call him something dumb. Anyway, I think I probably own... If I go to a new store, and if they have that model in stock and they're still selling it for $18 instead of $35 or $45 like they sell the single miniatures these days, I have a tendency to buy it. So I think I have like 6 or 7 of them. It's great for kit bashing. Good evening from the Philippines. Summer just ended for us working on Green Goblin for Marvel Crisis Protocol. It is interesting how that works with the different sides of the planet, but yeah. Ions in the air, speed superglue cure. So theoretically, breathing on it should. Oh, there you go. You can cut the tiles to make walkways. There are some sanding that needs to be done because of the back of the tiles. I could see that too. I was also thinking about 3D printing some stuff. I could like, because I can design some stuff using like Tinkercad, so I could do some of that too potentially. How did the new video go? Just wondering, as you often say that the ones that actually have projects minis don't do as well. It's doing okay. I think when it launched, it was 7 of 10, which you would think 10 of 10 is best, but 10 of 10 is worst in YouTube. What that's doing is that it will, when you look at a video, it will tell you, okay, well, in comparison to the last 9 videos you did, this video is in such and such place at this time. So let's say you're looking at your video's been up for 4 hours. Then it will go and look at your last 9 videos and see how many views they had at the 4-hour mark, and then rank this video. So 1 out of 10 means it's doing better than all the other 9 videos previously, and 10 out of 10 means that it is in last place, again, at the same time, you know, in comparison to those other videos. It's a nice key progress indicator, KPI kind of thing, for looking at it, but it's very quick, but boy, oh boy, sometimes you're just like, man, you're just like, I wake up in the morning on Friday and I'm on my phone. I'm like, I haven't launched the app yet, man. It'd be great if it was 3 out of 10. It'd be great if, you know, but you have to kind of also keep in track, like, did I have any real bangers recently? They got a lot of views. Did I not? So it's kind of on a curve, but it's always in comparison to your, basically including this video, the last 10 videos. And so it started at 7 out of 10, but then it moved to 6 out of 10 later in the day on Friday, and then it moved back to 7 out of 10, and then last I looked, it was at 6 out of 10 again. So it's kind of hovering. That's not too bad. While I love my resin printer, I'll probably have to get rid of it moving states and going from house to apartment, so I won't have a safe place for it. Yeah, I can see that. Warmaster came out around the same time Mordheim came out. Yeah. Bob Smith Industries activator comes in a large bottle for decanting into smaller dropper bottles. Perfect for putting activator exactly where you want. I've noticed a lot of garage model kits companies are switching to 3D printing. Yeah, I can see that. Everyone says apple barrel paints are terrible, and yet I have some that work incredibly. I use them on terrain. I use that type of kind of craft paint on terrain, but I don't usually use it on miniatures. I got the PDF and the print on demand for Death Wizards. Nice. And you still prefer the tactile experience of a physical book. You're not wrong. If I can buy the PDF and get it printed local, then that's the pro strat. Yeah, and that's the thing is that, yeah, that's... With wargaming rules, physical copies are nice for bookmarks and rules referencing. Like, I got to be honest, I generally prefer PDF because then I can keep a whole bunch of different game systems on one iPad. I can search, I can like Control F type search, keyword search for things. I do prefer it myself. I'm not a huge book fan myself, but I'm not the only person out there, so yeah. No need to pay for shipping, also true. Printed hard copies are always best at the table. I like PDF for reference. Gotcha. Would you consider making a video on how to paint different Primarchs or what to do and what not to do? Probably not. I'm not really super into the Primarch thing. Like, I gotta be honest, I'm not really into the lore. So the whole idea of the Primarchs, it's not for me. Yeah, I've never owned any of those models. I mean, the thing is that paint techniques can work across all kinds of different models. So if you're looking for like a tutorial on black armor, let's say, for a Primarch that maybe has black armor, then you would be able to, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't see myself doing any kind of stuff like that. Does Snarl not have a physical book to buy? It doesn't. Because it's what they call saddle stitch. So like this little notebook thing here, this is saddle stitch, which is to say it's folded and then there's staples. So there's a staple here, kind of like a comic book, you know how it's like folded and there's staples. That's what's known as saddle stitch. So that, because it's the last one was like 28 pages or whatever, they can't do perfect bound. No, I take that back. Perfect bound is the normal way that the printing company works. Perfect bound is like this, where it is like squared off and it's all glued. There's no staples, right? So the binding for perfect bound, the print company does that, but they don't do saddle stitch anymore, which you would think saddle stitch is easier, but as it turns out, the machines that do the saddle stitching are a real pain to maintain. They have a tendency to break down a lot. So some years ago, they got rid of saddle stitch. So basically the idea is that you buy the PDF, but we have two formats. We have a very screen readable normal format that you can just see a page at a time, but then we also have it laid out in spreads so that you can print it yourself and then you can fold it and staple it if you want to. So those are the options. There is no technical printed version of it. And again, Snarl is only, like I said, it's like 28 pages. There's like a micro game in there and a couple of add-ons. One for Rain and Hell adds a new philosophy, aka faction. And then also there's 2 new scenarios in there for Rain and Hell. And what's the other thing? Oh, and then the other thing is some new equipment and guns and stuff like that for Space Station Zero. This upcoming Snarl will have again a new micro game and then 2 add-ons, or maybe I don't know exactly what we're doing on add-ons yet for there. Yeah. Don't breathe glue. True. Baking soda helps cure super glue. Oh yeah. Yep. I made a video about that actually. Like the idea that a 3D printer less hassle to deal with when you want to print a file. Sure. Baking soda will cure super glue in a second. I've used the baking soda super glue trick and to fix a lot of stuff lately. Yeah, works out real well. Anyone use a super glue accelerator instead of baking soda? Is super glue accelerator just is it just liquid baking soda? I know that sounds like a dumb question, but I do wonder. My only gripe with baking soda for curing super glue is that it can leave some nasty texture blobs behind. Sure. Maker's Mark is a whiskey. That's what I thought. I always get pulled back to the 90s metal miniatures I bought back then, still waiting for attention. Something nostalgic about them for me. Sure. Micro Mark, not Maker's Mark. Ah, there you go. For my cats, Feel Away did nothing, but maybe it works on your cats. I have no idea. I feel like it's a scam. But I could be wrong. If you spray your shovel with Pam, the snow isn't supposed to stick. Weird. I guess I've never had snow stick to a shovel. I guess if it's real warm, maybe, and it's written, yeah. Never tried it. Always wondered if you could add some baking soda to rubbing alcohol and just put it in a pump spray bottle. Well, maybe. I don't even drink. That's the funny part. Well, I mean, it's, you know. I tend to swing from one extreme to another, from underpainting with transparent paints to layers of normal acrylic, back and forth over time. Sure, I mean, it kind of sometimes depends on the model you're doing, too. I took my wife to the hobby store recently. She wanted me to get all the Chaos models as they looked cooler. I mean, Chaos guys are kind of cool. The fact that Adam couldn't name a Primarch that has black armor says what you need to know. I mean, he's probably for what, the Raven Guard? Is there a I don't know. Yeah, I don't really pay attention to that stuff too much. Space Station Zero is the next game that I'm getting. Nice, Squigburger. Glad to hear. Thanks for the show this morning, Adam. Absolutely, John. I think the Tamiya plastic type activator, plastic cement type applicator would be perfect for glue activator. I would think that it would then stick to the thing then. You know what I mean? Like it would activate when you touch it, and then you think that's why you got to drip it on there. Whereas if you just put a little brush there, then you've glued the brush to the thing. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Question for the room. I love the Revel plastic glue, but they have been in storage. Following my move, the metal tip seems to have dried, though, and I'm not sure how to get it out with again. I don't know. That's a good question. I used to push fishing line down the tube. Local GW store denizens heat the tube with lighters. See, yeah, I have heard that, but I didn't want to say it because I wasn't sure that that was right. It seems slightly dangerous, doesn't it? I would think so. I don't know. But give it a try. Maybe outdoors. You know what I mean? Leave some orange rinds near your gaming stuff for a citrus spray. It will keep the felines away. Well, they don't go in the basement because I keep the door closed, so there's that too. There's a Primarch for Raven Guard. There is a resin model for him, but in lore, he's in the warp and has been since the end days of Heresy. Well, that's weird. Wonder what he's doing in there. Yeah, I don't know. The newest product that GW has put out that I'm interested in is, I think it's that newest kill team, the Termination or whatever it's called. It comes with like Imperial Guard dudes, but they're technically Genestealer cultists, and they're not just the normal. Here's Imperial Guard bodies with add-on heads. They're reposes and stuff like that, which is cool. And then it also comes with a bunch of the squats, but with like long leather jackets. Well, they're probably not that long, because they're short. But yeah, which is weird because even the robot's wearing a long leather jacket. I'm like, is he cold? Anyway. But yeah, so that's interesting. Those models, like, it's been a minute since I've liked both sets of models in a kill team box. There have been plenty of kill team boxes where I'm like, I don't like either of you guys, like but there have every once in a while there's like, well, I like that side, but I don't care for that side, whatever. But yeah, it's been a while since they've put a box out where I'm like, I like both of those. Again, not going to use them for kill team. Still wondering about kill team. Like, if they're going to update it, this is the year they would do it because they're on a 3-year schedule. And so I almost wonder if they're not going to announce the new kill team version maybe at Nova. That could be the case. I think they might announce it at Nova and then maybe it comes out end of September. I don't know. It's a good question. Because I want to say in 2021, Kill Team came out slightly later than I would have expected. Because Kill Team 2018, which was the first like Kill Team as we know it now, that came out in the summer. That was definitely a summer release, like a late June, early July type jam. And then when the new version came out, the 2021 version, it did come out early-ish fall. And for a hot second, I thought maybe there was a reason they did that, like production problems or whatever. And that still may have been the case. I don't know. But it did come out slightly later. And yeah, I still think there's going to be a new version of Kill Team. Now, maybe they won't make many big changes, kind of like they did when they came out with the new version of Warcry, where they didn't really go through and upend the rules and make everything all wackadoo. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm hoping if they're going to come out with a new one, I hope they make it something that I like better. But if they pull a war cry and don't change the rules much, then that won't help in my situation. But yeah. Kill Team Termination is coming this week. Can't wait. Nice. Painted a mini for my cat that always knocked over my minis, especially when their paint was wet. Presented it to her, and she walked around with it in her mouth and never bothered another mini. Weird. That's cool, Have you tried the new Vallejo paint line? I don't really know any places around here that carry much Vallejo. I use very thin brass rod to clear dried out metal glue applicators. Caught the end of the stream. Greetings from Peshtigo. Well, how you doing? Clear plastic that they make disc golf discs out of comes from Italy. No idea. Kill Team 18, or the good Kill Team as we call it. Well, I prefer it, but I know not everyone does. Haven't been able to even get the last 3 Kill Team boxes here without paying nearly double MSRP on eBay. You can't buy a game. It's effectively a dead game. That is weird. I think they're just, I know that they're having production problems, and it's just so odd that it's happening that way, which is really strange because what's weirdest about it, in my opinion, is that, like, I think my local store always has a copy. You know what I mean? So it's not, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's very strange. Want to learn about plastics? Get into disc golf. I learned about plastic blends. No kidding. Huh. That is interesting. I had no idea. Well, folks, it's about 11 o'clock. My wife has baked a cake. because we're going to a picnic or a cookout later, and she's baked a cake, and I can smell it. It smells good. But we are going to lunch at her parents, like we normally do on Sunday. But I think I'm going to find something to get the printer to do while I'm gone. So I'm going to get something set up, and then which means I have to go back downstairs, turn the printer on. So I turned it off last night when I went to bed. Anyway, my point is, I'm going to probably do a little bit more 3D printing. I'll probably post some pictures around once I get some stuff and take some good pictures of it. Yeah. So I don't know. It looks like this summer is going to be, like I said, summer of terrain, printing terrain, but also scratch building terrain. Going to a couple of shows here and there, not too much. Going to try to be a little chill this summer if I can. That'll be nice too. So, thanks everybody for coming by and hanging out. And I hope that you, if you get the chance, watch Vince's live video from last week about making games, if you're interested in making games, or if you're just interested in listening to us go on about stuff. Yeah. And I'll be back on Twitch tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central. If you're interested, you check me out at twitch.tv/tabletopminions. I'm pretty sure it's in the description as well. And I don't know, hit the like button if you get the time. I'd appreciate that. It helps the videos here, which is very nice of you. And as Vince says, buttons are fun. So yeah, we'll see you folks again. Have yourselves a good rest of your day and stay safe. And thanks for watching.